Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. We are diving into the world of VR today. Specifically, we're going to be comparing the Meta Quest Pro and the newer Quest 3 models. So you want to know which headset reigns supreme? Well, you've come to the right place. We've got a stack of user reviews and comparisons, and we're going to break it all down for you. By the end of this deep dive, you'll have all the info you need to decide which headset might be right for you. Oh, and before we forget, huge thanks to all of you for making the Deep Dive a Grammy Award-winning podcast. We couldn't have done it without your support. Now let's get started.
What's fascinating is that we're not just looking at specs on paper here. We're tapping into the real-world experiences of users who have actually put these headsets through their paces.
Exactly. So let's start with the visuals. One of the first things users noticed was the difference in resolution and color. The Quest 3 boasts a higher resolution display, but the color gamut is a bit more limited.
That's right. The Quest 3 delivers a sharper image with less of that screen door effect. You know, the one you see in lower resolution headsets. However, some users have noted that the colors appear slightly muted, especially when compared to the Quest Pro. The Pro, on the other hand, has a lower resolution, which can lead to a slightly grainy image. But the colors are incredibly vibrant. It almost feels like stepping into a cartoon world.
So we've got a trade-off here. Realism versus vibrancy. It seems like some users prefer the Quest 3's more realistic color palette, while others gravitate towards the Pro's punchier, more saturated look. One user even mentioned a significant difference when watching movies in big screen. You know, that popular app for virtual cinema experiences. They said the Quest 3 offered a more natural viewing experience, while the Pro felt a bit oversaturated.
It's almost like choosing between a classic film and a digitally remastered version. Some people appreciate the authenticity of the original, while others prefer the enhanced colors and sharpness of the remaster.
That's a great analogy. So visuals are a big consideration.
Yeah.
But what about field of view? You know that sense of spaciousness you get when you're inside VR?
Interestingly, many users who tested both headsets side by side found the field of view to be very similar. This suggests that both headsets provide a comparable level of immersion, at least in terms of peripheral vision.
Okay, so that's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah.
But let's move on to mixed reality, where the virtual world blends with your actual surroundings. How do the headsets stack up in this department?
This is where we start to see some key differences. The Quest 3 utilizes a higher resolution pass-through camera, giving you a clearer view of your real environment when you're in mixed reality mode. But more importantly, the Quest 3 features a dedicated depth sensor, something the Pro lacks. And this, as you might guess, is a game changer.
Hold on, let's unpack this a bit. What exactly does a depth sensor do, and why is it so important for mixed reality?
A depth sensor allows the headset to understand the three-dimensional structure of your environment. It can accurately map the distance to objects and surfaces, which is crucial for realistically blending virtual objects into your real world. Without a depth sensor, mixed reality experiences can feel a bit clunky and unconvincing.
So if I'm picturing this correctly, with the Quest 3, I could say, place a virtual couch in my living room, and it would look like it's actually sitting there, interacting with the light and shadows in the room.
Exactly. The virtual object would realistically occlude behind real objects, and you could even walk around it and view it from different angles, as if it were physically present. This level of realism just isn't possible with the Quest Pro's current mixed reality capabilities.
Okay, I'm starting to see why the Quest 3 might have an edge in mixed reality applications. But what about for the serious gamers out there, the ones who are all about pushing the graphical boundaries? How do these headsets fare in the realm of PCVR? Connecting to a powerful gaming PC to unlock even more immersive experiences?
That's an excellent question, and it's one that has sparked quite a bit of debate in the VR community. On the surface, the Quest 3, with its higher resolution display, seems like the obvious choice for PCVR.
Right, because higher resolution generally means a clearer and more detailed image, which is crucial for those graphically demanding games.
Precisely. However, the Quest Pro has a secret weapon: local dimming technology.
Now, you mentioned this earlier, but I think it deserves a closer look. Could you break down exactly how local dimming works and why it's such a big deal for VR? And maybe explain it in a way that even someone who isn't a tech wizard can understand.
Absolutely. Imagine your VR headset display is like a miniature city at night. With a traditional LCD screen, it's as if all the streetlights are on all the time, even in the areas where you don't need them. This results in washed-out blacks and less than ideal contrast.
So it's like having all the lights on in your house, even when you're only using one room.
Exactly. Local dimming is like having a smart lighting system that can selectively dim or even turn off the lights in specific areas. In a VR headset, this translates to deeper blacks and a wider range of contrast, which can significantly enhance the sense of depth and realism.
Okay, that makes sense. So the Quest Pro's local dimming helps it punch above its weight class, even with a lower resolution display.
That's the idea. However, there's a catch. While local dimming can enhance contrast and depth, it can't completely compensate for the lower resolution. Some users have reported that the Pro's image, while vibrant, can appear pixelated, especially in games with fine details or lots of text.
So it sounds like the Quest Pro might be a better fit for PCVR games with a more stylized art style, where the vibrant colors and enhanced contrast can really shine. But for games that aim for photorealism, the Quest 3's higher resolution might offer a more immersive experience.
That's a good way to put it. And this is where the debate gets really interesting. One user who spent a lot of time comparing both headsets for PCVR actually disagreed with a well-known VR reviewer who claimed the Pro was the superior choice for PCVR. This user found that the Quest 3, despite its lack of local dimming, provided a more immersive and visually appealing experience in most games, due to its sharper image.
It seems like the choice for PCVR really comes down to personal preference and the types of games you enjoy most. We've covered resolution, color, field of view, and even touched on PCVR performance. We're just getting started. Stick with us as we dive deeper into the nuances of these headsets in part 2 of this deep dive. And if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, don't forget to like and subscribe to the deep dive for more insightful content. We'll be right back after a short break.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're in the midst of comparing the Meta Quest Pro and Quest 3, and you're probably starting to see that each headset brings unique strengths to the table.
It's definitely a close call so far. But there's still plenty more to explore. Last we left off, we were delving into the world of PCVR gaming. We discovered that the Quest 3's higher resolution makes it a strong contender for those who crave crisp visuals, while the Quest Pro's local dimming technology give it an edge in contrast and depth.
Exactly. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about another factor that can significantly impact your VR experience. Comfort.
Ah, yes, comfort. Because, let's be honest, no matter how amazing the visuals or features are, if a headset feels like a vice grip on your head, you're not going to enjoy it.
Precisely. And this is where things get a bit subjective, because comfort is a very personal thing. What feels comfortable for one person might be a pain point for another.
That's true. I remember trying a VR headset once that felt like it was designed for someone with a completely different head shape than mine. It was a real deal breaker.
I think we've all been there. So how do the Quest Pro and Quest 3 stack up in the comfort department? Well, both headsets have received generally positive feedback from users in terms of comfort, but there are some nuances to consider. The Quest Pro, with its more open design and adjustable counterweight system, offers a high degree of customization, allowing you to fine-tune the fit to your liking.
So it's a bit like tailoring a suit. You can adjust the straps and weights until it feels just right.
Exactly. However, some users have reported that the Pro's design can put a bit too much pressure on the forehead, especially during extended VR sessions.
That makes sense. It's like wearing a baseball cap that's a little too tight. It might feel fine at first, but after a while it starts to dig in.
That's a good analogy. The Quest 3, on the other hand, adopts a more traditional headset design. Similar to the Quest 2, it's generally considered comfortable, but it doesn't offer the same level of adjustability as the Pro. However, some users prefer the Quest 3's simpler design, because it feels lighter and less bulky on their heads.
So it seems like the Quest Pro is the more customizable option, but it might take some tweaking to find the perfect fit. The Quest 3 is more of a plug-and-play option, but it might not be as adaptable to different head shapes and sizes.
That's a fair assessment. Ultimately, the best way to determine which headset is more comfortable for you is to try them both on and see how they feel.
All right, so comfort is another important consideration. But let's delve into one of the Quest Pro's most intriguing features, face and eye tracking. This technology has the potential to revolutionize VR interactions, but it also comes with some caveats.
You're absolutely right. The idea of having your virtual avatar accurately mimic your facial expressions is incredibly exciting, but the implementation is still a work in progress.
Yeah, we touched on this earlier, but I think it's worth revisiting in more detail. What exactly are the challenges of using face and eye tracking on the Quest Pro, especially for PCVR?
Well, the main hurdle is that Meta hasn't provided full native support for these features in PCVR. This means that developers have to rely on third-party workarounds and hacks to integrate face and eye tracking into their games and applications.
It's kind of like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
In a way, yes. And this can lead to inconsistency and technical issues. For example, one user who is experimenting with dynamic foveated rendering, a technique that uses eye tracking to optimize performance. By only rendering the area you're looking at in high detail, ran into problems with latency and stuttering.
So the technology is promising, but it's not quite there yet in terms of seamless integration and reliability,
Right.
especially for PCVR.
That's the current situation. However, it's important to note that this could change as Meta continues to develop and refine its face and eye tracking technology. They've already released updates that have improved the accuracy and stability of these features, so it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Okay, so face and eye tracking on the Quest Pro is a bit of a gamble right now. It has the potential to be amazing, but it requires some patience and technical know-how. But what about other features? Are there any other notable differences between the headsets that we haven't covered yet?
One key difference is in the controllers. The Quest Pro controllers feature built-in cameras that enable more accurate and responsive hand tracking, whereas the Quest 3 controllers rely on the headset's cameras for hand tracking.
That makes sense. Having cameras on the controllers themselves would provide a more direct and less obstructed view of your hands.
Exactly, and this can translate to a more precise and immersive hand tracking experience.
So it seems like both headsets have their strengths and weaknesses. But before we get to the ultimate question, which headset should you choose? Let's take a step back and consider the bigger picture.
I like where you're going with this. What's the overarching takeaway from all of these comparisons and user insights?
Well, it seems to me that the Quest 3 is the more well-rounded and refined headset for most users. It offers sharper visuals, a more polished, mixed reality experience, and a comfortable design, all at a more affordable price point than the Pro.
I agree. The Quest 3 represents a significant step forward in VR technology, and it's a compelling choice for both casual users and hardcore gamers.
But the Quest Pro, despite its current limitations, is still an intriguing option for those who are willing to push the boundaries of VR. It offers a glimpse into the future of VR interactions with its face and eye tracking technology, and its superior controllers hint at what's possible in terms of hand tracking precision.
That's a great way to put it. The Quest Pro is more of an early adopter's device, a platform for experimentation and exploration.
Right, it's for the VR enthusiasts who are excited about the possibilities of face and eye tracking, even if the technology isn't quite perfect yet.
And who are willing to tinker with settings and workarounds to get the most out of those features.
Exactly. So we've explored the key features, delved into the nuances of each headset, and even touched on the philosophical implications of face and eye tracking. But now comes the moment of truth. Which headset should you choose? We'll help you navigate this decision in part 3 of this deep dive. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're in the final stretch of our exploration of the MetaQuest Pro and Quest 3. We've covered a lot of ground, from resolution and color to comfort and controllers. But now let's tackle the ultimate question. Which headset is right for you?
The million-dollar question. And as we've discovered, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. The best headset for you depends on your individual needs, priorities, and of course your budget.
Exactly. So let's break it down. If you're looking for the best overall value, the Quest 3 is hard to beat. It delivers a fantastic VR experience across the board, with sharp visuals, a comfortable design, and impressive mixed reality capabilities, all at a price that's more accessible than the Pro.
I completely agree. The Quest 3 is a fantastic entry point into high-quality VR, and it's a solid upgrade for those coming from older headsets. It's great for gaming, entertainment, fitness, and even productivity applications.
But the Quest Pro, even with its higher price tag, has a certain allure. It's like the luxury sports car of VR headsets, packed with cutting-edge technology and features that hint at the future of immersive experiences.
That's a great analogy. The Pro is definitely for those who want to be on the bleeding edge of VR, who are willing to invest in a premium experience and experiment with the latest advancements even if they're not fully mature yet.
Right. Features like face and eye tracking, while still in the early stages, have the potential to revolutionize how we interact in virtual worlds, adding a level of realism and emotional depth that's simply not possible with current VR systems.
Imagine attending a virtual meeting
Right.
where your avatar subtly mirrors your facial expressions, conveying your emotions more naturally and realistically. Or picture playing a VR game where your gaze influences the gameplay, allowing for more intuitive and immersive interactions.
Those are some compelling examples. It sounds like the Quest Pro, even with its quirks and current limitations, is a glimpse into a future where VR becomes an even more powerful tool for communication, collaboration, and entertainment.
Exactly. It's pushing the boundaries of what's possible in VR. And it's exciting to see where Meta takes this technology in the coming years.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's recap the key takeaways.
Absolutely. For the majority of users, the Quest 3 is the clear winner. It offers a fantastic balance of performance features and affordability, making it the ideal choice for both newcomers and experienced VR enthusiasts.
But if you're looking for the most advanced VR technology available today,
Yeah.
if you're eager to experiment with the future of VR interactions, and if you have the budget to support your VR ambitions, then the Quest Pro might be worth considering.
Just be aware that you might need to be a bit more tech savvy to get the most out of the Pro's advanced features, and you might need to be patient as the technology continues to mature.
Excellent points. And remember, folks, the best VR headset for you is the one that aligns with your individual needs, preferences, and vision for how you want to experience virtual reality.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And speaking of experiencing virtual reality, we're cooking up a special episode for you all. We're going to be diving deep into the best VR games and experiences available on both the Quest Pro and Quest 3.
We'll be sharing our top picks, from heart-pounding action games to mind-bending puzzle adventures, and everything in between. We'll even throw in some hidden gems that you might not have discovered yet.
So if you want to know which VR experiences are worth your time and money, be sure to subscribe to the Deep Dive and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on this epic adventure.
And if you enjoyed this episode, do us a favor and spread the love. Share it with your friends, leave a comment, and let us know what other tech topics you'd like us to explore in future deep dives.
Until next time, happy VRing, everyone.